I'm David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and funny one. Holy Nope is the post-Holy Nope top rejected pope names. The real reason it took so long to choose a pope. You may think that the College of Cardinals, school slogan, Go Jesus Go, decided on the new pope pretty quickly. But the truth is they reached the decision even faster than we realized. The only problem was they didn't like the names Robert Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, originally suggested. Some of them may seem a little out there, but it's important to remember that Prevost is from the U.S. and that the Pope doesn't actually have to be named after a saint. There was a Pope Felix, after all. Wasn't he named after a cartoon cat? Okay, yes, I now realize that he was the patron saint of domestic animals. Other previous pontiff names include Saint Hyginus, who is rumored to have been very clean, Zephyrinus, Fabian, Innocent, who may have been found guilty later on, and Saint Hilarious, who probably would have found this list very funny. In fact, the whole election winner changing their name thing might even make the job attractive to somebody in the witness protection program, if not for the high visibility of the job. On the plus side, it does come with its own security detail and that really cool Pope-mobile. So, without further ado, here's the list of names that made the Cardinals want to say, Oy vey, Maria. 1. Pope Jim Bob. Inspired by the compound name of John Paul, the first pontiff in the U.S., thought it would be a good way to honor St. James, patron saint of pharmacists, pilgrims, and people with arthritis, while also including a shortened version of his own name. And the name is about as American as you can get, other than Billy Bob. But that name was already taken, and there are no saints named Bill. 2. Pope John Paul, Ringo, and George, or Pope John Paul, George, and Ringo. Another spin-off from John Paul, Prevost thought it would be more appealing than John Paul III, which sounded more like a movie sequel. Slogan, he's back, and this time he's out for social justice. He also felt the name would be a great unifier because everybody loves the Beatles. 3. Pope Pat. Patrick was the saint, wasn't he? So Prevost was on sound footing here. Besides, the name had the benefit of sounding informal and androgynous at the same time. The nuns liked it, but the Cardinals were having none of that. 4. Pope Stan the Man. Naming himself after one of St. Louis's much-loved outfielder Stan Musial was a blatant attempt to appeal to the Cardinals until he remembered that he was lobbying the College of Cardinals, not baseball's St. Louis Cardinals. 5. It makes perfect sense, Pope Tarmac. 5. Pope Tarmac. It makes perfect sense. Who's inspiring more prayer in America these days, the Pontiff or the Federal Aviation Administration? I'm not Catholic, so I can say the Pope doesn't have much to do with my praying, but given the Trump administration's poor leadership of the FAA, I pray every time I get on board a plane. 6. Pope Not So Innocent, or Pope Felonious. This was the one the Cardinals had set aside themselves in the unlikely event that somehow, through some unholy alliance, Dementia J. Trump ended up being named Pope. 7. Pope Peter, Paul, and Mary. Prevost is still mystified that this one didn't work. With two saints and the Virgin Mother, it seemed like a shoo-in. The Cardinals realized that, indeed, the times they are a-changin', but they were worried about possible charges of dragon worship in Puff the Magic Dragon. And they no longer had time to debate the issue because they were in a rush to get done, as many of them were leaving on a jet plane and didn't know when they'd be back again. I've been David Volk, a voice of the resistance, albeit a strange and funny one. Talk to you later.